And now we want to discuss about subdisciplines of biomedical engineering. So here are not exhaustive, but a list of examples. For example, electrocardiogram, which is electrocardio means our heart. So finding out the signal from the heart into graphical form, or we call it EKG as well. And X-ray CT stands for X-ray computed tomography, which allows us to see inside the body the morphology or the anatomical feature of inside our body. And the third is ICD, implantable cardioverter defibrillator. This is an implantable device which listens to the aberrant signals of the heart when the patient having a problem, then it can give a shock to recover the heart rhythm. So it can save people, those who have a heart rhythm problem. An MRI is magnetic resonance imaging by using magnetic field to study inside the body as an image. And PET, or positron emission tomography, allows us to see the metabolic aspects of our body in 3 dimensions. And stent, many have problems in vessel occlusion, which can lead to, for example, even heart attack. And the stent technology now allows us to prevent those from happening. And cell culture technology is the main unit of biological system. As a cell, we can study the cell by controlling and applying various assays so that we can start to study those at the basic level of the cell. So if you look at outside, there are various names related to biomedical engineering. Why are there so many different names? It can be confusing, as probably this has not been established as traditional disciplines such as mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and those others. So out there you can find bioengineering, which is mostly interchangeable with biomedical engineering. Also the course we call medical engineering emphasizes more on medical application, but in general it's almost synonymous with biomedical engineering. Also, you can find out a department of biological engineering, and this biological engineering uses engineering principles and principles of life science to develop effective biology-based technologies. And also, you also find biomolecular engineering. This is a branch of biomedical engineering which emphasizes the use of chemical engineering principles for design and analysis, such as drug development. And lastly, you also see biotechnology, which is a little bit of application of scientific and technical of advances in life science or genetic engineering to develop useful products. Now, many of you as a graduate student, your undergraduate major may not have been biomedical engineering, because biomedical engineering is such a interdisciplinary field that many of you have engineering or science backgrounds. So here I introduce traditional engineering disciplines, which is associated with biomedical engineering. So for example, electrical engineering or electronic engineering, those who may be related to BME related subjects, such as neural engineering, bioinstrumentation, biomedical imaging or optics, biomechatronics, or clinical engineering. For those who may have a mechanical engineering or aerospace engineering background, may be more interested in biomechanics, medical devices, systems physiology, rehabilitation engineering, biomechatronics, and clinical engineering. Those who may come from chemical engineering or material science may be more interested in biomaterials, cellular tissue and genetic engineering, or bio-nanotechnology. Some may come from computer science background, may be more interested in bioinformatics and systems biology. Then there are people who are coming from physics, chemistry, or pure biology. Oh, we have to say basic science discipline could well contribute to biomedical engineering as well. So here, before getting into deeper, I want to broadly introduce you subspecialties of biomedical engineering. So biomedical engineering is a huge, broad area, one can say. So first, physiological modeling. If I give you an example, first, dynamics of circulation or microcirculation, such as blood or lymphatic flow, and modeling of cellular mechanics. Or when we are using a drug to a body, then we are curious about what's happening. Is the drug effective to the body or not? So for that, we call as a pharmacokinetic models of chemotherapy. So chemotherapy is the use of chemicals for treating disease. And we are interested in whether the disease works, is being treated well enough with this drug. Then, many times we see this anti-cancer drug doesn't work for this patient. Then we have to think what happens. Let's say first, is the drug intake gets into the diseased area effectively enough or not? So here we call it as a PK or PD study, pharmacokinetics or pharmacodynamics. So pharmacokinetics means the distribution of the drug inside the body. Simply, we can call it what does the body do to the drug, whether the drug can be absorbed or well distributed or accumulating enough concentration onto the target place. On the other hand, pharmacodynamics means what does the drug do to the body? So is the drug effectively affecting that target organ or cells or tissue? So next, biomechanics. An example is gait analysis. Gait is the manner of how the person walk. Or the other is prosthetic joints or limbs. So this is an artificial tool which can substitute our human body. And cellular level of mechanics. So the mechanics applies not only of big things, but down to the cellular level, which we call as a cellular mechanics. And another subspecialty as a biomedical instrumentation and medical devices. For example, ECG, electrocardiogram, or cardiac pacemaker. There are people who have a problem in regular heart rhythm, and we use this cardiac pacemaker to beat the heart, to normalize the heart beating. And another example is glucose and oxygen pH sensor. And these are an instrument which measures our body's normal level of this glucose or oxygen or pH. Other kinds of subspecialty, for example, as a biomedical imaging. And you probably have heard a lot of X-ray CT, which are typically required for you to a regular exam. And another is ultrasound imaging. So the use of sound to build a 2D or 3-dimensional shapes inside our body. And MRI and positron emission tomography is an example. And another example is optical imaging. For example, like endoscopy of upper gastrointestinal tract or lower gastrointestinal tract, which also is now a routine examination for health check. Biomolecular engineering and biotechnology, one example is a drug delivery system. So such as design of a capsule or design of a drugs which maximizes its efficiency to reaching to the target. Or artificial skin. This is related to tissue engineering. So those who have a patient with a burn patient or some injury which required a replacement of skin permanently or temporarily. Or we can even engineer protein to produce a useful product such as insulin. Another specialty is artificial organs. For example, we have many vital organs in our body. There are people who have problems in these organs will require this substitute. For example, patient with a kidney problem may require hemodialysis, which filters the blood. And those who have a problem in heart function may need artificial heart. Although I should say, we still do not have a whole functioning, lasting artificial heart yet. And artificial ear, eye, liver. All these are very challenging problems in terms of engineering, and it still awaits for ingenuity of biomedical engineers. And lastly, I want to explain your systems biology and bioinformatics subspecialty. As our understanding of the basic biology gets more sophisticated, and we are now not only seeing individual cells, but the network of cells. Or inside the cell, we call cell signaling network, and those are very complicated. But now we have gained more understanding to see more a big picture of how things are interrelated and interacting each other, to understand when we have, let's say, some new drugs, how do they interact with this cell physiology. So that requires a modeling of cellular networks, and not only a single gene, but we are discussing about the whole or some combination of the genome. So for that, we need a DNA sequence analysis. And not only DNA or gene expression, we need a microarray technology, which will give us a big picture of whole genetic expression, not only single, but a lot of them, or even the whole gene expression at the level of RNA, at the level of protein. So these are related to systems biology and bioinformatics. Thank you for your